everybody. Welcome back once again to the channel. You know, it is JJ with you once again. I got me and my guest, as always, Mr. Machine. Say hi, Mr. Machine.
Hello.
There we go. We got him in there. Let's do a sound check really quick. That's you.
Just, me?
Yeah.
Let me go check.
No. I'm not talking about that sound check, bro. I'm just saying. Just say 1 through 5.
1 through 5.
That's it. Your mic's working, so.
Okay.
I already checked on YouTube. It sounds just fine. So we're getting right there. All right. Well, before we get started with the live stream this evening, I heard good news from YouTube. Let's start here. YouTube says the more people that spoke up the chat for live streaming, the less you'll get, how do they say it? Less you'll get ads. So if you're chatting away on the live stream and everybody is just cranking, the more people that get involved in the live stream, the less ads you will get on the live stream, from what I'm taking away from this. We don't know yet, but it'd be a good test if everybody just get in there and just start chatting away and just start spoking up the channel. This way, when you're watching the video, you can chat and everything else and listen at the same time and do whatever you got to need to do. You know, it's all good. But also, too, another thing before we get started is this is a disclaimer. Anything that I speak of about tonight and you go to try it yourself, you do it at your own risk. You'll see when we get through the live stream tonight when I mean what I mean. So you do this at your own risk. I'm not held responsible for anything you do on your PCs. This is for educational, entertainment purposes only. All right, Mr. Machine, you understand? We understand, right?
I get that.
Okay.
Anything that you do when it comes to that stuff that's not part of the regular software that you get is always taking a risk.
Yeah. So, because not every PC is the same. Yep. And I can't say from my point of view what's going on in your PC because I can't see what's going on in your PC. You know what I mean? I can see what's going on in mine, but I can't see what's going on in yours. Yep. So that's a risk you take.
Depends on what graphics card you have, 6,000, 7,000 series AMD, Nvidia, same way,
anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe your CPU, RAM, anything.
Well, here's the kicker. You could have the exact same setup as me and still not have it running the same as me. Mm-hmm. So even if you modify, every PC runs different within 1 to 2%.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's all how you set it up. It's all set up.
It's a risk.
Yep.
So keep that in mind. I am bringing this out right now in Front Street.
Always do backups before you install something that you're not sure about.
Well, see, that's the thing. If they got like a secondary SSD that's fresh and new with an operating system ready to go, it's like a test patient for their hardware, then I would say do that. And that way you're not jeopardizing your original SSD. You know, your lifeline. Which, when SSD prices come down a little bit, I am going to be getting me some secondary SSD with the same operating system because I'm going to clone them of my system. So when I go for testing with software like this, I don't have to worry about the SSD. I can just format it and go right back on it again. So it really doesn't matter. So it's always a precautionary, because if most of your people out there today, Machine, the problem is they only have one system. and they go to try something like this, and guess what happens?
Yep.
It crashes, black screens, they can't get into the safe mode, nothing. Then they have to reinstall their whole system over again. All their software is lost because of, trying to, try frame generation. But anyway, let me go ahead and just read the little monologue I've made for you guys tonight. So it says, well, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the live stream here on JJPB. Tonight, we're diving straight into NVIDIA's claim about the DLSS enabler. But here's the thing. NVIDIA did not make this. Keep that in mind. NVIDIA does not approve of this. They did not make this. This is made by somebody else. So, that's the one thing that I put in my mind. They say it works on all the RTX 40 series. And we're here to find out if that's true. But we're not going to install it just yet because there's a little problem. And I'll explain that as I go down the road. I've been digging through some data today. And tonight, I'm just going to continue the research that I was looking at. And I'm doing it live with you guys. It's time to see if the research floor in this tower of the Tower series reveals anything good for users of the 40 series, 30 series, 20 series, and yes, even the 50 series. Believe that. Now, for anyone new to the channel, I always say like this: truth, collapse, and repeat. And if you don't know what that is, we'll explain it to you. That means if a company doesn't tell the truth, you know when they're lying. That's part of the truth. The tower they built will collapse. So there's another collapse because you never know. They build it up and then it collapses. And the history will repeat itself. Repeat the history. It will repeat itself. Generation after generation. So I hope you see where we're going with this. So let's get started with it. What do you guys think? I got some things that I did pull up. Let me get you guys all set. There are some things that I did pull up from video cards and WCCF Tech. And a refresher of the reason why NVIDIA didn't do it for the 40 series. So, let me get you guys set and ready to go. Let's go to the action screen. Now you made it to the action screen. This says from video cards, DLSS enabler adds 5x to 6x multi-frame generation modes for unsupported GPUs, including the RTX 40 series. I was watching Ancient Gameplays today on that, and he was rocking a RTX 4070. Not saying it's the exact same one I got, but he was rocking it. So,
yeah, he's got the gigabyte version. He's got the same one I have.
Right.
Just their basic WinForce.
Right, but he was using an OptiScaler to do all this.
Yep.
He had to take the file and inject it into the game. Some games will not accept this type of DLSS for the 40 series, 30 series, 20 series, even the 7000 series, 6000 series, and 5000 series from AMD, and including XE3 from Intel. It also Intel's working on their own
Mm-hmm.
to make it vibrant for the B series graphics cards.
Yep.
So, and hopefully they make it for the A series too. They're doing their own thing. But you can still use it, from what I hear with everybody else, that you can still use it with everything. People are claiming that all the way down to the 700 series of Nvidia. 700 series, bro. That this goes. But there's a flip side to this. So, and the flip side is this. The site that you go to get this is Nexus Mods, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be subscribed, or you have to pay for the channel or something in order to become a member. I'm not going to go that far. Okay. You have to download their app in order to get the DLSS enabler. So basically, this is behind a paywall. I would consider that as a paywall. Do I consider it safe? Video Cards thinks it's safe, but there's much more to it that everybody's missing the picture. Okay, let me get to it. This is what I was going through today, was the fact of something I caught. What was it? You guys have to bear with me. There's something I read that really bothered me. Maybe it's a little bit further. See, this is all blank. I don't understand why it's all blank. They got, I mean, WCCF Tech's got a whole bunch of stuff to this, but I got to remember where I read this. There's a certain part I read. You guys are going to have to bear with me, and I will find it. It looks like they found it on they found an SDK on GitHub. Okay. Now, I'm going to pull you guys away from this for a moment. Okay. So, give me a second. Okay. So, I'm going to do something really quick. Be patient with me. Let's see. Something I found when that's the same thing that you got right there, right? Let me go ahead and fix this around. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this. Let's see. watch very carefully when you go to download something. When it says do not use for regular gaming, and I went through this with a fine-tooth comb, even if it's the earlier versions, do not download it. So, I wanted to bring that point very carefully. Same thing. And if you don't believe me, I will zoom this up for you. Right here. So when you go to look very carefully. Because I can zoom into things. You know, I want to know if it's safe for my system. They give testing mod features and everything else. They tested it. But here's another one. Not the one that we've seen down here. See? Experimental version, do not use for regular gaming. Right here. Again, do not use for regular gaming. They tell you about it, but they don't want to give you it. You know, they don't. But in truth and reality, machines, nobody really needs it.
Nope.
They didn't put it here. No, they didn't put it here. They didn't want to scare everybody off. They didn't put it here. I'm not gonna chomp on their heels or anything else. But if you don't think, and if an outlet doesn't think it's safe for gaming, but all the reviewers are sitting there, they're choking it up. Guys, here's the problem. Here's where everybody doesn't understand. Reviewers, like the big ones, have spare parts. They can build a whole brand new PC in a matter of seconds. They got them on standby if they need them. They got parts galore. People that can't afford the parts don't have this up on standby. And I want you guys to understand that. When you're putting something experimental in your PC, you're risking your graphics card, you're risking your CPU, you're risking your system RAM, you're risking your SSD, your motherboard, you're risking the whole thing, even your power supply. And if the power spikes up and your power supply is not big enough, guess what happens? Poof, there goes your motherboard, your power supply, maybe your CPU, and hopefully not your GPU. I've seen this many of times. It's crazy. Yes, make sure you get your drink and snacks. Hello, Cyborg. Good to see you, my friend. I am reading into the chat. Oh, you guys are having a good conversation there, machine. But Nexus Mods, if you go to their site, they're under, you know, I would imagine, I heard from a couple people and they told me you got to pay for it. So I don't know. I'm not going to go this avenue because I'm not in the mood to risk my GPU for a few extra frames. I don't need to do that. That's ridiculous. I get 2x frame generation. You know that machine? I get 2x frame generation. I'm happy with it. I just tested my system earlier today on Cyberpunk. At 4K, I'm getting between 80 and 90 FPS. On the 1% lows, I'm well over 70. So I'm not, and that's at 4K. 1440p, it's going to be a little higher. Yeah, it's going to be about 140, 145, somewhere in there. But you know what? I'm okay with that. There's no stuttering. There's no artifacting. The game plays as smooth as butter. And I'm not complaining about it. When I start complaining about a GPU, I will get on this YouTube and I will start complaining about it if it's bad. You guys have to understand that. If it's crappy, I'm going to tell you. If it's great, I'm going to tell you. So, no matter which way you weigh it, I'm going to tell you. That's why I'm here. Somebody says, oh, Jay, they got this new GPU out, I think it's the worst in the world in this. That's what they said about the 4070. And you know what I did? I bought the 4070 because they were saying it was shit. You understand now? I've been rocking with it over 3 years. Am I wrong, machine? I've been rocking with it over 3 years. Guess what? I didn't replace it with, what's this one? I didn't replace it with the 7600, which was donated by Mr. Machine, by the way. That's got AV1 encoding. This has got AV1 encoding. So does my 4070. This has got 8 gigabytes of VRAM. My 4070's got 12. I can still game with this. Not getting a lot of FPS, but I get some over 60, as well as live streaming. And I got this one here, the 3060 Eagle by Gigabyte. As much as, I really don't care too much for Gigabyte. I know in the past I really had a bad rap. I really didn't like them because of all the things that I've seen. But I'll tell you what, this is one graphics card they didn't mess up. Trust me on that. This one right here. There you go. This is one graphics card they did not mess up. As I checked the boot on that, this little boot thing right here, that little boot thing, it's solid. Some of their other graphics cards that they had, they made them almost paper thin, and they were breaking off. So I had to see what that was about. Only problem I had was the thermal paste. We know why, Mr. Machine. You know why, and I know why, right? The thermal paste was all dried out. The card was overheating. Mr. Winston, loyal subscriber of the channel. Just like all you guys. I consider all you guys loyal subscribers, by the way. So he switched out. He got himself what was it, the 6700 XT after replacing the 3060, right, machine?
Yeah.
And then he went from the 6700 XT to the 9060, the RX 9060 XT. That was another gigabyte card, wasn't it?
No, power color.
Oh, power color.
Yep.
Not bad, not bad. So, when I got the card, I was being nice, man, you know. I took it apart, was it a live stream or was it a video? I don't remember. I think it was either a live stream or a video, and I took that card apart.
It was a video.
It was a video?
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I took it apart is because it had it was like kind of almost to the point of thermal throttling when I tested it the first time. To me, anything that's over 70 degrees Celsius is thermal throttling. Anything over 70 degrees is thermal throttling. So, I pulled it apart on the video. Showed you guys it was all crackly. Replaced the thermal paste with the good stuff. Was it the Arctic MX4? Son of a bit. Yeah, I got it somewhere, but let me see. I have to show you guys right here. Arctic MX4. The good stuff. Now they do have the MX6 and the MX7. I do want to try out the MX6 and the MX7. You know that machine? Those are going to be I want to test what the MX4 is doing, the MX6 and the MX7. I want to see which one is going to dissipate heat better. All I got to do is pulling the 360 my 360 millimeter AIO pump. All I got to do is pull it off. Well, first thermal test, which I already been thermal testing the whole damn time. The same thermal paste MX4. So we'll get some numbers on that. We'll pull it off. We'll put the MX6 on there, and then we'll see what kind of numbers we get with that. And then we'll pull that off, and then we'll try it with the MX7. And we'll compare the three numbers to see which one's the best of the best. That ought to be interesting now, shouldn't it there, Mr. Machine?
Yep.
I think it'd be interesting. Maybe you guys would enjoy something like that. But that's something I can't do on a live stream, okay? That's something I'm going to have to do on a regular video. But getting back to this DLSS enabler. Machine, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
I wouldn't mess with it until it becomes something more mainstream.
I wouldn't mess with it unless it becomes mainstream with Nvidia.
Yeah, but you wouldn't. I don't even think the majority of people really need something like that.
It's frame generation.
I just don't. I don't think people use that much frame gen. I don't. I mean, but then again, I have a strong enough card. But with the frame gen, you need VRAM, and the more frame gen that you have, the more VRAM you need. So most people have 8 gigabyte cards,
and the more
utilize frame gen like you would on higher end cards.
And and the more frame gen you add, the more latency you add anyway. Mm-hmm. So, and I can tell you what I got right now gives me latency to 6 to 8 milliseconds. And it only pushes my graphics card up to the 8 gigabyte mark. Even when I got on ray tracing on 4K, I could still get between 80 and 90 FPS with frame generation on. Oh, not frame. Yeah, well, okay. With frame generation on, yes. And ray tracing at the same time. Running under performance mode. Okay. I did that because that's what they're recommending you do. Because when you go into the NVIDIA app, you got to set it up to where let me get this poop and laughter going. Okay. So I'll take you guys over there and I'll just show you. Okay, right here where it says recommended, DLSS override model preset, I just set it on recommended. Smooth motion is off. I don't use that because Cyberpunk doesn't play nice with it. Okay. And I got power management mode set on maximum performance, of course. Everything else is just set just nice. So, max frame rate is turned off. Image sharpening is off. The CUDA GPUs is marked as my 4070, as you guys can see. Low latency mode, I put it in ultra. Smooth motion is off. DLSS override super resolution mode is use 3D app settings. The DLSS override is set on recommended. And here, oh, we're still, yeah. Damn, you gotta just, here's why. When you go into your settings, they recommend you run on performance for if you want more FPS. You can run on quality and only take a 10. I mean, when I went from performance to quality at the same settings, it was only like a 10 FPS difference. Can you believe that, machine? It's only 10 FPS. That's at 4K. 1440p, I really didn't notice, but maybe a 4.7 FPS, or I wouldn't say 4.7. I would say 5 FPS difference at 4K. Or 1440p, my bad. So, believe it or not, it's not as bad as everybody's saying. So, and believe it or not, when you're in Cyberpunk and you're running on ray tracing psycho mode, and in your settings you're on psycho mode, both are on psycho mode, and I'm getting good FPS. It's not just running the benchmark, I was in the game as well. I ran the benchmark on each one of them, got my total FPS. I went into the game, I went and ran around for a little while just to see what's up, see if it's going to crash or anything else. Looked great. So, depends on how you guys want to take and rock with yours. Every PC is going to be different. So I can tell you what my experience is. I can't tell you what your experience is, because your experience is your experience, not mine. It's how you set things up on your PC. That's your experience. How you set your graphics card, how you set the BIOS on your motherboard. If you if you turn it all the way up or you set it at undervolted, overclock, whatever. I mean, I can't judge what you do on your PC. Okay. All I can tell you is my experience and share it with you guys. That's all I can do. Right, Machine? I mean, what else can I do? I mean, think about it. What else can I do? But I'm telling you guys like this. I'm not trying DLSS enabler. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not saying that I'm not going to, that I'm trying to shoo you guys away from it. If you want to test it, go for it. But I don't think I want, even though that I got a secondary PC, I really don't think I want to sacrifice any of my PCs just for a couple extra FPS. I really don't think that's good. What do you think, Machine?
I wouldn't.
Not for a couple FPS, man. It's not worth it. Especially when your base FPS doesn't change, but your latency does. You might raise your FPS. It might try to smooth out, but it doesn't. I run 2x frame gen. Even if I had a 50 series card, I would still run it at 2x frame gen. Even on a 50 series. Because the software cannot handle the GPU. The software and the GPU do not play nice. And we all know this from the experience between AMD and Nvidia. They all don't play nice. This is the reason why Intel's doing their own thing with their own driver series. They're picking their own battles. They're making their stuff molded to what their image is. While you got AMD and Nvidia trying to fight for who's on top and who's on bottom. That don't sound right, bro. That didn't sound right.
Depends on how you take it, I guess.
Yeah, I know, but that didn't sound right. That's TMI, bro. That's TMI. That's just way too much TMI for me. But anyway, give me your thoughts, guys. What you think about this DLSS enabler? I want to hear from you. If you tried it or you didn't try it, what the hell? I know there's some people that might want to go out there and try it. I wish you the best of luck if you do that. But until they say, hey, oh, Dr. Blitz, behave. You see what he wrote? You at the bottom?
You about him. Yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, if you guys are going to try out this frame generation for 2x, 3x, 4x, 6x, or it would be safer is that what's that one that where you can change the frame generation on Steam? What's that called again?
Upscaler.
On Steam? That one you pay $7 for? The duck one?
Oh, I don't know.
Y'all remember the name of that one that looks like a duck that's on Steam that you can take and change your performance and stuff for $7? If you remember, put it in the chat. My brain is fried. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name. So I cannot remember the name, Machine.
Me neither.
Look at this. I get a suggestion from YouTube. I'm running the stream too hot. Oh, you know, the good thing is I just heard coming to my area, I'm on my upload. I am going to get 1 gigabit per second on my upload, and my download, I'm going to have 1 gigabit per second. They're going to match equally. So,
nice.
Yeah.
It'll help with streaming.
Yeah, and it'll help with the uploads too. Right now, 40 megs per second on the upload is really terrible. But it's better than nothing. How's that vodka going in there, Jay? Bro, this is water. This right here is Walmart water. And Machine will tell you that. It's Walmart water. Am I wrong, Machine?
Yeah. It's Walmart water.
So, is what it is. Reason why I can't drink, guys, I don't smoke drugs or anything. Doctor told me earlier this morning, and here's more bad news. Doctor said to me earlier this morning, he says, "Do you understand why you talk so slow?" I said, "I can't understand that for the lick of me." He says, "You have signs of cerebral palsy. On top of what else I got cooking." "10-minute game loads, downloads are great. Take a shower, it's ready." Yeah, there you go. You know, he just threw that on me earlier this morning. Sucks, doesn't it, Machine? What else could go right? Or what else could go wrong? How about that? So, I don't know. I'm just doing everything I can to hold my wits together. How about that? So if it seems like that I'm edgy or whatever else, guys, it's a part of life that I have to deal with. Just more medical added on to the fire. So, but getting back to the DLSS enabler, I'm going to tell you, it's not worth, because it's still in beta mode. If I'm reading this right, they still say it's in beta mode. So
I wouldn't touch it yet.
It's buggy until I see a real launch of this and them doing what they claim and say, "Oh, it's free." Not when you put it behind the paywall there, brother.
Or download, like you got to download our app so we can track what you're doing.
Yeah. Basically, you got to sign up to a site so we can track what you're doing so you can do your download and you get it for free. So we can sell your data and information. You know, I looked at the site. It's not a bad site. I'm not jonesing on the guys because they worked hard on that. But you're taking OptiScaler you can get from GitHub for free. And you're taking and transforming the DLSS and adding in more frames. While you're putting in there, what did I call it again? Trying to remember. Give me a moment. I'll just go back and I'll look at it again. Everything I do is not scripted, so, well, when I'm doing the Tower series, I have to write all that out, and I put it on the screen so I can keep my thoughts straight. Just to let you guys know that. Okay, I was talking about the low latency mode. So if they're adding like a super ultra low latency mode to that to make it smooth out, that's what I think they're doing, machine.
Mm.
Is they're adding that extra in there, giving it like an extra super low latency to butter it out to where, you know, when you run the extra frames per second, it kind of balances it out a little bit. But you're still using, you got the gift to gab, balances it out. Okay. Yeah, you're right. I tried to, at least. But if they're trying to do something like this, and I would rather pay the $7 on Steam.
Yep.
Because you can get 20x frame generation off of that. And you could use any graphics card with that. No matter which graphics card you change to your PC, it's still not going to change your Steam account, and it's still not going to change you getting that upscaler in Steam. And plus, it's designed for Steam, and it's not designed outside of Steam. So you could be looking at, malicious code injection, malware, which Steam, Valve, they pretty much try to keep up 100% on the BS when it comes to the hacking and the code injection and all that stuff. They do try to keep it away from, the community, and they do, I haven't heard a lot about it on Steam, but I have heard about it out in the wild. And this is a program that's based upon out in the wild. So basically, you're injecting that code into your game exe file. I remember I've already did that with the code that they put out on what was it, GitHub for the FSR4 INT8. I was lucky that code wasn't a malicious code. But it still works, and I just left it there. Even though I took my AMD graphics card out, I plugged in my Nvidia card, and guess what? It still works. Frame generation does not work. I am still trying to wonder how they got this OptiScaler program to work using an AMD frame generation, which wouldn't work on NVIDIA graphics cards. Their FSR4 scaler will work on it, but frame generation won't. FSR frame generation won't. So I am still trying to wonder about that. Not unless you got to use the program OptiScaler and do it that way. But I really didn't want to download OptiScaler into my PC because that's just another thing that's just beating on my RAM. Another thing that's going to take and make my system run slower. I took and went code to code by myself and got it to work. So I did not need OptiScaler because OptiScaler is already built into the code they give you to put in to replace a code, but does not affect the DLSS or anything else. But frame generation for FSR4 will not work. AMD's FSR frame generation will not work on NVIDIA graphics cards. The rasterization will. The rasterization upscaler will. But the rest of it, no. But at least I got something. Is it better than DLSS? No. I already found that out on my 4070. It's not. My 4070 rocks with DLSS 4.0, and I think they're giving the 40 series, 30 series, and 20 series a part of the DLSS 4.5. Am I wrong about that machine?
Yes. They're getting 4.5, but not 5.
Right. When DLSS 5 comes out, we'll get a part of 4.5 added to the arsenal of the 40 series. So that'll keep me rocking just a little bit longer there too. Do I need anything else as far as visualizations? No. After Machine sent me this so-called 32-inch monitor, sorry, I had to do that, bro. Even though I know it's 27 by 21. Okay. But that's still good. I mean, if he would have got it 3 inches bigger, I could not fit it on my desk.
What she said.
Hush. So, but I look at it that way too. If it was a little bit bigger, it would have never fit, bro. That's okay. I thought I was imagining stuff when my other monitor was 1 inch wider and 1 inch taller than this one. Not 1 inch, but half an inch. I would say a half an inch. But still, that's not bad. You know, all this time I thought that was 36 inches. See what I get for reading the box? It wasn't. It was 32. Diagonally 32. But 20, was it 28? This is 27 and a half inches wide. That's 28 wide. Or 20. This is 27 and a half. That's 28 and a half, I think. I can't remember. It's been that long ago. But that's okay. That's okay. I never thought I would get away from 1080p too, bro. I really didn't.
Well, it gives you some options when it comes to doing your videos and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of options. Now that gave me the option for 4K too. You know, that's when I get a clear camera that doesn't look like this one. But this one has been good, and it's been keeping me going a long time, longer than a couple years. You know, so it has been kind of okay, modding it here and there to get it to have some kind of picture, machine. So, whack, but that's something I can clear up. Look at the microphone. Look how much more clearer it is to the old one that I used to have. That one's going, 12 years old? But I was rocking it. And now I don't have the amount of volume of speaker on this monitor. That's the reason why I went with headphones. These headphones rock. For $3 on Temu, they rock. I was surprised how much they rock. They really hit the notes. For $3. I got 2 microphones and a dongle that comes with this that connects directly onto my PC. I ran these microphones, one of these microphones, for 4 hours straight, and I still had battery life. So I would imagine they're either 6 or 7 hours with continuous usage. So, but they work. They run. As far as the enabler, guys, I'm not going to recommend it. After doing my thought about it, my research and everything else, I really don't think that it's going to be worth all the black screening and all the problems that some people are having with it. Not everybody's going to be having these problems. Some people are having the problems. They've been reporting. They've been having problems with it. I don't think I want to risk what I got rocking good here just for a couple extra frames. Does that make sense, machine?
I wouldn't.
I mean, I'm not really going to do that. Not unless you guys hit the subscribe button. And the more subscribers I get, maybe I'll download it. If we get, I'll make a deal with you. If we get over 1,000 subscribers in the next 7 days, I mean like 2,000 subscribers total. In the next 7 days, I will go to GitHub and I will download the program and install the program and get it all set up and take you all along with me. But that's if we get 2,000 subscribers. Sounds like a deal, doesn't it, machine?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought it was a good deal. So get the word out. Get the word out to your friends and everything else. Get us over 2,000 subscribers. And tell you what, keep YouTube busy and put positive likes on every one of my videos. Every subscriber, please go on every one of my videos and just put positive likes all over them. Every one of them put positive likes on. And I guarantee we'll have 2,000 subscribers in 1 week. Because they'll think that I'm goofy. You think, Machine?
Mm-hmm.
They'll think I'm goofy. They'll think I'm questionable. They'll think that I can't handle things. They'll think after 3 decades I don't know nothing. You know, I might get lucky and get a couple trolls. You know? I have never trolled any channels from day one. You know that, Machine? I've never. Never, ever, ever. Not from day one. Even from day one of YouTube. Never did it. Even when everybody was going Yahoo Messenger, I still didn't do it. So, I don't know, guys. This is kind of getting to the freaky part. You know. Machine, you got anything you want to add to this?
No.
Yeah,
No.
you do. You got to have something, man.
No, I just wouldn't touch that stuff. No way.
Well, the point somebody was making was, well, they say like this. Well, a developer makes this software upgrade for the 40, 30, and they say the 30 and 20 series don't really rock well with it. But they say they can rock all the way down to 700, the 700 series.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this developer made it, and some people are saying, well, how come Nvidia didn't make it? How come Nvidia wouldn't give it to us? Oh, that's right, greed. That's what some people, reviewers were saying. Nvidia is being greedy. They would rather lock it up than to unlock it and give it to us. That's what they're saying. I hear that all over the internet. It's what they call AI slop. I'm just relaying what I've seen and heard.
I don't know. I'm just, I think what's going to happen is when DLSS 5 comes out,
Yeah.
give it a couple months, and Optiscaler will make it run on the older ones. At least the 4000 series, because they have AI cores.
Yeah.
I think it'll just be a minute, and then they'll make it work. What I think.
Yeah. Machine, I do agree with that. Dr. Blitz says, you see the Nova Lake leaks.
Yep.
No, he just said that in the chat. No, let's go. We're at the action screen. We're going to find out. How about that? Let's see. Let's pull it up. Nova Lake leaks. Intel. Let's see what we can find. Oh, we got WCCF Tech. Why we're here, let's see. Intel's next gen Nova Lake S desktop lineup. Key features: significant microarchitecture upgrades, dual compute tile design, integration of the BLLC cache. That's a new one. Power limits going through the roof. Intel's Xe3P iGPU architecture. Oh, yeah. We're going to be talking about a CPU with integrated graphics. Okay. An NPU 6 with immense AI performance. This must be where they got with Nvidia for integrated graphics. Nova Lake's BLLC. Let's see what they're going to say. Let's see, Nova Lake S. This must be the biggest one. So they're saying 52 cores, 52 threads. Max P core is 16 P core, 32 E cores, 4 max LPE cores. Max cache is going to be 160 megabyte to 320 megabytes of L2 and L3 cache. Compared to what's out now on Arrow Lake, which has got 76. But this has got a new cache, a max BLLC cache, 144 to 288 megabytes. Interesting. It will accept up to 8,000 microtransfer DDR5 system RAM. Has 36 PCIe 5.0 lanes. 36. That is huge. Most main motherboards only have 28. 36. That is huge. PCIe 4.0 lanes max 16. Oh, that right there is robbing you. Well, no, if you're using PCIe 4.0 on your SSDs and you got 4 SSDs, there goes your 16. But you still got to allow 4 for the chipset, so you're only getting 12. So they're trying to max everything out on 5.0. Same socket? No. This is the LGA 1954. The one that's current is LGA 1851. Okay. This will go from 125 to 175 watts. Max power. Dual phased. 700 watts. Dual phased. Single phased is 350 watts. 50 watts less than the current. Launches the second half of 2026. So is this supposed to be like a July thing or a June thing?
Second half, so it'll be it'd be before June.
Dr. Blitz.
Second half would be after June, so it's starting July at some point.
Well, Dr. Blitz says find an article from 2 days ago. This is April 8th, and it's the 15th. Oh, yeah, I got you. I got what you're saying. I got what you're saying. Let's see if I can work like that. This is 2 days ago, published. Intel Nova Lake CPU gear up to seize AMD's 3D V cache gaming throne. Early leak point up to 52 cores. We just read that. DDR5 8000. We just read that. It's still the same thing. This is 2 days ago. Let's see what they got. It's still the same thing. Dual MPU 6, dual channel. Oh, it's 24 lanes. It's not 36 lanes. It's 24. So with 52 cores, you only get 24 lanes. And it doesn't say if it only says 5.0. It doesn't say anything for 4.0. It says Thunderbolt port 5, you get 2 of them. XE cores, you get 2 of them. My question is, what's the deal? What doesn't make sense is they said there's 8 cores on this, and this says 4P cores, 0 E cores. Oh, the LP cores, LPE cores. It's still 8 power cores, but you're just getting 16 efficiency cores. Divided that by 2, you're only getting 8. Because you can't consider those P cores unless you combine 2 of them into one, making it one single power core. If that makes sense.
Well, those cores are better now than they were before, right?
I don't know. Supposedly yeah, they're supposed to be.
Their architecture is supposed to be better.
Let's see. It's the 400S series, guys. It don't look that bad. But there's leaks and rumors about AMD coming out with something better for AM6 and AM7. So this back and forth thing, they're going to be doing this forever. Okay, understand this. This back and forth shit, they've been doing ever since AMD stepped into the light. Because if you remember how AMD started out, they started out like this, making integrated graphics for Intel in the beginning. And then they started making CPUs using Intel's microcode, got caught, went to court, got sued, so they had to pay a royalty for many of years until the royalty expired in order to run x86. They had a big battle going between the two. So
nothing wrong with competition.
No, but when you steal the microcode and you get caught, and then you try to claim, oh, you this was your own microcode. No. x86 came originally 802, the 80286 originally came, if I remember right, if I dig deep into my mind, it was IBM. So, yeah. Bought by Intel. Everybody thought back in the day x86 was a dead platform. So Intel brought it to life. So I hope by AM8 they have fixed the CPU failure rate. Yeah, I hope so too, because I hope every time somebody gets one of those X3D chips and puts it on, what do you call it? What's that manufacturer's name? ASRock. Hopefully, by the time 2032 or 2034 comes about, they'll fix their coding problem between the motherboard and the CPU before the CPU catches fire again. Now, they're not the only one that had that happen. Happened to Gigabyte, happened to Asus as well. It almost started to happen to MSI, but MSI nipped it in the bud before it got anywhere. And they've been rocking ever since. So I got that 9700X like machine. We both got it on an MSI motherboard. He's got his smoked out, and I got mine undervolted.
I got a motherboard control.
Did you, are you undervolted or overvolted?
Whatever the motherboard wants to do.
Oh yeah, you got it set on motherboard control. That's max output control then.
Yep. I am going to undervolt test it out here. I just want to make sure that I have you free for that. For help.
All right. Mr. Dakota just signed in and said hello to everybody. Uh-oh. Dakota's late.
It's normal. That's all normal.
Oh my goodness. Back and forth for what games? It doesn't matter what games. The problem is, if you were to take the newest system and go and play a game that's 40 years old, the game would crash when it got to the first gigabyte of VRAM. You gotta remember, back then in the 80s, everybody was still sucking on the 128 megabytes of VRAM. When they came out with it, everybody was so excited. They like, oh my God, I got 128 megabytes of, 128 megabytes of VRAM. Oh my God, it's the best. I'm going to tell you how many people back then when I was doing, helping build computers and stuff for people. You know how many people went nuts for 128 megabytes of VRAM. They went nuts. Oh, I can play my game now. People just went on fire. And when they came out with the 256 megabyte cards, oh my God. I mean, Best Buy couldn't even keep them in stock. They couldn't keep the cards in stock long enough. That's how fast the graphics cards were moving. And when they came to 512 megabytes of VRAM, holy shite. There were people lined up because they had a special sale. There were people lined up for miles waiting to get their hands on that graphics card. Miles. So now when I look at my 5600G and it's got 512 megs of system RAM, can accept up to, with 128 gigabytes of system RAM, it could accept all the way up to 32 gigabytes of system RAM dedicated. I tested 64 gigs and got 16 gigabytes of dedicated RAM for that integrated graphics. There's a special setting in the BIOS that you can set it up and set it to the max. But the problem is this: game makers will not allow you to use it. Some will, but some won't. So that dedicated system RAM for your integrated graphics that AMD put there and didn't tell anybody about, just didn't matter because people didn't, everybody was thinking, oh, I'm just rocking with 512 megs of system RAM. I'm not getting anything out of the integrated graphics. That's what we call about locking the hardware away from the software. This is when they put things in the background that they don't want you to see. You could have bought yourself, what, 256 gigabytes of system RAM? And when they come out with the new integrated graphics, that's supposed to have, like Nvidia is supposed to have one that has 6,144 cores. That's supposed to be just as fast as, what, a 5070 Ti? And that's on integrated graphics. What the hell has AMD and Intel been doing all these years, giving us nothing on their CPUs? But all of a sudden, Nvidia can take and rock the boat and put 6,144 cores for the integrated graphics on a CPU. What? That's the whole idea. What's the problem? I mean, guys, I want you to think about this. If the CPU can take and run on 8,000 megahertz with the lowest clock latency you can get, even if it's at CL32, tell me that's not going to be a beast. Without a graphics card, coming up with that much power in a CPU, and at the right price. But I have yet to see any manufacturer come out of the box when it comes to price. Because running that many cores for integrated graphics, they all shit the bed. Because the one person they do forget is the person that's down at the bottom. The one that scratches and saves just to get one part at a time. But they do nothing to make it affordable for the consumer. The 60% that scratch and save, making it day by day. But they jack up the prices. This is the reason why developers now got to sit there and make up their own software boosting programs just to make current hardware valuable. Developers are working on a new string of life for current and older hardware, and it's gonna be wonderful. These companies don't want to breathe life back into the older products. Then you got developers that are gonna do it, and that's what I'm waiting to see, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I am waiting to see these developers come up out of the box and say, we're going to do something for the PC community. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for that day to happen. Oh, Dakota's still at work. Okay, you're excused. No problem, sir. We understand you're still at work. It's all good. But these companies have to understand the 60+% that is out in the world. Now, take how many people are in this world, bro?
Too many.
No, I'm just saying. There's 8 billion. There's 8 billion in the world, right?
Something like that.
8.4 billion or something like that. Right? So if you were to grab your calculator, like I did right here, and you take the 8.4 billion, how many zeros do I need? That looks like enough zeros. And divide that by 60%.
Whoa.
Right?
Math person.
14 million people.
Yeah, 14 million.
So, out of the 14 million people, how many do you think that actually are striving to make it in this world? This is the 60%.
Isn't it times 0.60, not divided by?
Probably, yeah. But it sounded good.
It should be closer to probably like 6 billion. Would be 60%, maybe 5.5.
It's 5.04 billion or million.
It'd be billion.
Billion, yeah. Wait a minute, yeah, that's 5.04 billion. So out of the 5.4 billion,
yep, 5 billion. Okay. I'll go 5.
but we're looking at the wrong number. We should be looking at 450,000. No, yeah, 450,000 gamers times 60%. And that's 270,000. You know how many gamers you have when Nvidia and AMD and Intel pick a margin when they send their stock? You know, their GPUs and stuff. They pick a number. So, out of the 1%, the 35%, and the 60%. Well, no, I got to be right about this. For the 5%, 35%, and 60%, that makes 100%. You got the 60% that take up the majority of 270,000 gamers. So keep that in mind. Am I wrong now? So let's say you take the 270,000, right? And each one of them buys a $1,400 graphics card. So that comes out to what? $378 million. Right? So that's a good chunk of change. Especially if you make $378 million and take $78 million for your overhead, that's $300 million you walk away with. Now you turn around $150 million of it and turn it back around into GPUs again. Guess what? You got yourself another load of money. So now you got 600 million. Do it again. Now you got 900 million. See, you do it on and on and on and on. You're going to make it all the way up to the $1 trillion. That's what Nvidia did. They looked at the soup and nuts and they figured how to make the math work. That's what they did. Even if Nvidia was selling only high-end graphics cards and they were selling them at $3,500 a piece, that 5% is still going to make them $600 million. Because everybody knows that when you buy graphics cards from the AIB partners, they have 19 different graphics cards a piece for every make and model, maybe more. And if you like the looks of something, you're going to buy more than one. And being in the 5% crowd, you're definitely going to buy more than one GPU at a time. Some people are buying like 5 or 6 or 7 of them at a time. So all you're doing is you're buying 5090s and you're just kicking more money back to Nvidia. They don't have to make a lot. You know that machine, right? They don't have to make a lot, and they don't really have to make much more of the smaller cards, like the 5080 or the 5070 Ti or the 5070 or the 5060 Ti or the 5060 or the 5050. They can make all their money by investing in one card. Just one. Not 2, not 3, not 4, one card. Because they know the AIB partners are going to make 20 to 25 different versions. So they can make a 5090, 25, 30 different versions per company. Every company can have their own version. But the output, still the same amount of FPS. So are you gaining anything? No. Why are you going to spend $3,500 on a card you're not getting nothing from? Tell me that. Tell me the difference. Tell me why the 5090 doesn't get that much modification. Tell me why the 4090 didn't get that much modification. The only series that really got the most modification from the next generation was the 40 series. Had the most unbelievably less problems than the 50 series. The 40, what do you think they discontinued the whole 40 series lineup? And even discontinued the super models before their time. Why? Why did they just, after three and a half years, they just say, I'm done with the 40 series? Even the newest super series, they discontinued. Why? Was the 50 series that good? What's the difference between GDR6X and GDR7? Oh, well, the GDR6 gets 1.5% IPC loss compared to the DDR7 the GDR7 series for the integrated graphics, or not the integrated, for the graphics cards VRAM. 0.5%. My 4070's got GDR6X. 0.5% difference from the new generation. You guys did not catch it.
Well, don't you have a bandwidth increase as well because of the speed?
Bro, they overpowered the cards to get that bandwidth speed.
Okay.
The 40 series is the only one that was slimlined, that was made more efficient than the 50 series. Trust me, it's more efficient than the 50 series right now. Here's why. I can run my card at 200 watts while you're running your card at what? 250, 300 watts maybe?
Yeah, mine's running at, right now, 240.
Okay, so for that extra...
But it can go to 300 without a problem.
Okay, so for that extra 100 watts, what are you getting?
Quite a bit more FPS. Not a third.
No.
Not a third more.
bro, I can tell you for soup to nuts, you're getting about the same FPS I am.
You think?
Think about it in a different way. You're thinking about it in one way. You run your graphics card one way, right? This is, like I said, not everybody's PC is the same.
I understand. But if we ran the same exact settings at the same...
But we don't.
But if we did, my card would get more FPS than yours.
Okay, well, what if you didn't? Well, let's just put it this way. What if you didn't know me, right? And you ran your graphics card one way, and I ran mine a different way, and we in the long run, and we would have never known it, we would have got the same amount of FPS, except for you're spending out another 100 watts that I'm not spending out. At the end of the day, no matter which way you want to cut it, the way you run yours is not going to be the way I run mine.
Right, of course. Yeah.
So, but if we look at it and averaged it, we both are running the same amount of FPS. Even if you're running the 5070 Ti, I'm running the 4070. Like I told you, when it comes to, trying to balance everything out, and it's in the world of balance, your card and my card's going to run exactly the same. We're going to get the same amount of FPS. Okay, so even at 4K, you're getting 120 FPS, right?
Yeah.
But if you had more visualizations, you come in the bracket of 80 and 90 FPS, right?
If the higher I go, of course, obviously the more,
right,
the less FPS, I guess.
See, now you're coming into my bracket,
right,
between 80 and 90. Even though it runs good for you at 80 and 90 FPS, it still runs good for me as well.
Yeah, I mean, and my standards are pretty high.
Yeah, and your FPS is not going to be higher because I know you don't like over 120 FPS.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell, so it's a waste to me.
That's why you float in between the 80 and 90 range.
Yeah.
So do I. Now, do you see there's no difference? What, visualization? What's the difference between our visualizations? We're both running at 4K. Tell me what's the difference. There is none. Baseline on both our monitors. We're both at 4K. We both have high resolution. And we're both running the same way. But we're not. We're not running the same way, but we're getting the same response. Does that make sense to you? So you run 100 watts harder than I do, but I'm still getting the same response as you. Now, do you see the difference? And graphics cards are graphics cards, bro. No matter which way anybody wants to cut it. No matter which way anybody wants to cut it. Everybody wants to run away from the truth and reality. When it comes to your PC, he's got 16 gigabytes of VRAM. I got 12. Everybody's card is on a... it's on a different spectrum when it comes to the amount of VRAM the game uses. Number one, if you got 16 gigabytes, it's going to use up to 12 to 14. If you got 12 gigabytes, it's going to use up 8 to 10. If you got 8 gigabytes, it's going to use up 6 to 7. Sometimes it'll go between 5 and 7. But it always will leave you 1 gigabyte left until you push your visualizations over that mark to use up all your VRAM. That's the mistake. When you push the VRAM on your card too hard and you blow out a chip, it'll take you that one time to understand how much money you invested in that graphics card, that you had to push it that hard to think you're getting that much visualization, which you don't need. You can get a certain amount of visualization, yes. Your eyes can only see a certain amount of colors. Your eyes can only see a certain amount of pixels. Until you gather that realization, then you're not going to understand how GPUs work. Until you gather that realization, you only need enough to make it look good. Does that make sense, machine?
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what graphics card you got, they all operate differently when it comes to games. The game makers did that not deliberately. They did that by design. Why do you think when you first download a game from Steam and you start it up and it automatically optimizes your settings for the first time? Here's the kicker. It's always set like that for the first time. You might think you're changing your visualizations in the display settings, but you're only getting a third of what you thought you're getting because the game makers put a cap on everything. So as much as everybody wants to tell me, Jay, I'm wrong, or Jay, you're wrong, you haven't dug in as much as I have dug in over the years. And I see what they do. And when Nvidia tells developers that with this new DLSS 5, they get access to different things for the graphics, isn't that not a clue? Did everybody kind of put their head in the sand and just hope that everything was going to be fine? That nobody was really sniffing the coffee, but other than they were sniffing the glue? Do you get the point? The world doesn't get the point. They think Jay's crazy. Jay doesn't know what he's talking about. Jay's stupid. You know, but I hate to tell you this. You know I'm right. I've been building systems 3 decades, people. I've been dealing with software 3+ decades. Different operating systems. Even with some people, operating systems you weren't even born with. But some people were born with it, but they never got into PCs when they were in their teens like I did. Most of the people were out there, you know, kids were cutting their lawns. No, me, I was building computers. So, and I got so fascinated in the computers, I got into disassembling the motherboards back then. You can do that because the components were bigger. Now they're so microscopic, a piece of toilet paper would wipe a chip right off of the board. And you wouldn't even see it. That's how microscopic it's gotten now. You think these peepers can see microscopic? I don't think so. Imagine a memory chip there, machine, that you have to use a microscope to see it. your VRAM microchips, you need a microwave, microscope to see it. Could you imagine that?
Well, we're getting there.
Yes, we are getting there. Soon, I'm ready for them to come out with something like the movie with, was it Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? I'm waiting for that to come out soon in the real life. Hey, they shrunk everybody in the world. So that would suck. That we would have to fight the bees, the ants, and everything else. We would be microscopic. To the universe, we are microscopic. Beyond the universe, we're more than microscopic. We are a speck of dust. We're not even a half a speck of dust beyond the universe. So, do you actually think the software is going to be good for your hardware? Your hardware is balanced to do certain things. But do you think these companies are stupid to not give you something more than what you paid for? Well, I hate to tell you, they're not stupid. They already did. Your hardware is more powerful than you know it. They just lock things away to keep it down, because if you're not spending the money for the software, you're never going to unlock the true potential of your graphics card or your motherboard or your CPU or whatever. So there it is. How's that, machine? So hello there, Mr. Fake Frames. I have a Gigabyte X60 master now. Unscrew the chipset plate to change the CMOS battery. Wow. Software is almost never optimized to run well. I agree. Sorry to hear you got to take your motherboard apart to get that battery out, though. That sucks. I know that. Even with these motherboards here, they're going to be a pisser of a time to get those batteries out, because they didn't make those easy release batteries. So I'm going to have to figure out how the battery comes out of the tray. So that means I have to take the motherboard out of the case, inspect with a magnifying glass how to release the battery out of the motherboard tray. That's going to suck. That's one thing I did notice, machine. That's the only thing I noticed so far on these motherboards is the CMOS, the CMOS battery. You know, the clock battery. It won't come out of the tray. It's like they glued it in. Seriously. I'm going to have to take the motherboard out to actually look at it to see how it comes out. Maybe there's a special clip on the side I can't see. So I don't want to ruin it. So the best thing for me to do is pull it out, get a magnifying glass, investigate, and see if there's a clip that's holding the battery down in place. Usually there is. Maybe they put it to where I couldn't see it. Possible too. So when it comes time for that day, then we'll have to do a video on that. Until then, it's just going to sit there looking like it is. So. And as far as optimization, there is no optimization. The only ones that are really optimizing your hardware are developers making their own hardware optimizations. It's truth and honesty. Why would you keep buying? Why would you keep? This is the biggest problem. Everybody keeps their same hardware until when it comes to the software optimization from the big manufacturers, guess what happens? They sell the one they got and they get a new one because that's supposed to have better optimization. Then when they get that, they're not happy with that, so they sell that one. So what then? Where are they going to go to? Oh, we're not happy with Nvidia because I'm not getting the performance I'm supposed to be. I'm going to run over there to AMD and see what they got. Take my money and go over there to AMD. So that everybody buys the 9070 XT. And they're like, damn, I'm not getting the ray tracing I want. I'm not getting this, that, blah, blah. I've heard all the stories so many times from many different people in many different countries, not just the United States. I hear it all over the world. And people do notify me and they do email me. And they say they made a mistake. They should have stayed with what they had. Or they say, well, this is the best thing that ever happened. I'm glad I made the change. Or, it's just back and forth. You got to remember, when you build your PC, it's unique to everybody else in the world. Your PC is unique to everybody in the world of what combination parts you put together. That makes sense, Machine?
Mm-hmm.
So people get mistaken when you got a lot of people saying, oh, NVIDIA's hardware is broken or NVIDIA's software is broken. And then you got another chunk that says it's just fine. So the amount of people that are saying it's broken, what's the first thing they did? Did they do BIOS updates? Did they change something with their motherboard? Or is their motherboard 100% compatible, giving them all the lanes that they need? Or did they get a motherboard that's locked with an unlocked chip? There's many different variations. Many different variations. So when you build a PC or you buy a pre-built PC, make sure the specifications are the ones you like. Because if not, you're going to get it and then you're going to say, I don't like this. I'm going to return it. Why don't you like it? Well, let me think. They don't like it because when they first tried it, it didn't work for them. And it's one setting in the BIOS that keeps them away from it. One setting in the BIOS. I've heard this many a times. I've had to tell many of my friends, take me through your BIOS. I did it with Machine. Did I not? Now you understand your BIOS, right?
Yeah, to a point, yeah. I'm not scared of it anymore.
Well, the basic generality, you know how to modify your BIOS, right?
Yeah.
So it's basic general. All the stuff that you modified, you can do on many of the motherboards. It's basic modifications. See, it's just basic shit. And people say, well, why is it so hard? It's because you're listening to everybody in your ear hole tell you it's this way, when basically it's just 3 freaking settings to modify for overclocking. 3 settings. That's it. One and done. How's that, machine? Does that sound good to you?
Mm-hmm.
I take mine a step further, though. I got 5 different settings because I undervolt my CPU. I'm not looking for power qualifications. I'm looking for balanced and longevity. I still get close to the FPS Mr. Machine gets, but I'm not killing my CPU for the simple fact I don't need to. That's why it stays right at a nice FPS or a nice degree of temperature. I like it when it runs equal with my graphics card. Both the graphics card and the CPU running at the same temperature tells me the system's balanced. When I got the GPU and the CPU running at the same temperatures in the 60C bracket, tells me my system's balanced. When I start to see my CPU go over 60C to 70C, that's when I know I got an imbalance. Does that make sense, machine?
Mm-hmm.
See, if I keep my system balanced, I know where there's an imbalance and how to fix the imbalance because I rebalance it back to normal. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, wow. You mean we went 2 hours?
Yep.
Did we learn anything?
Probably not.
No, I don't know. I don't know, but anybody learned. I guess I was just ranting and raving for 2 hours, I guess. But maybe everybody will understand one thing. I'm going to put it out there to you. Balance your system. Don't worry about pushing the power up to the hills. It's not going to be needed. If you want a nice balanced system, undervolt your CPU, leave your GPU stock, go into your display settings, and that's where you start pushing the temperatures and pushing it the right way. It's not by using another program to overclock your GPU. It's not by another program to overclock your CPU. And it's not about the BIOS having to overclock your CPU. It's about having a nice, steady undervolt and to have a nice, steady stream on your GPU, which I got on both. And they both rock out at the same temperature. So that tells me, again, I have good cooling on both. And I can get 4K, 80 to 90 FPS. 1% lows, 60 to 70. Milliseconds of delays between 8 and 12 milliseconds. Do you see a problem? No problem. Because it's normal to get 8 to 12 milliseconds. You have to allow for the mouse, the keyboard, the internet, everything to get that kind of delay. So, usually when the internet takes 19 milliseconds of delay, that's crazy. You have to configure that in too. But my internet's slowly getting down there in the delay department, so we're getting there. But CPU alone's only between 8 and 12 milliseconds. Do I got it balanced? Yes. Because the amount of delay that, is between each part and everything else, that's about normal. What do you think, Machine? Does that sound about normal?
For what?
The latency in milliseconds between 8 and 12 milliseconds?
8 and 12 is probably around 90 to 100 FPS, maybe. Correct.
Yep. Exactly. So, the Linux devs, open source drivers are more likely. Yeah, fake frames, yeah, they might. But I can tell you it's one and done on my PC, and I'm not going to risk the. Why would I risk it when I can spend $7 on Steam and get an overclocking tool if I want it for what do you call it? Shit. I even forget what the name is. See, that's because everybody's just got my head all jacked up. That's what it is. Frame generation. If I want more than 2x frame generation, I'll spend $7 to get it. I don't need to get a newly program that you got to spend $20 for a subscription just to get it and get, touchy-feely on your computer by an outsourced program. If they built it in Steam, that'd be a different story. Just like they did with that OptiScaler program they got in Steam for $7. A lot of people are using it, and a lot of people aren't complaining about it. And even the big-time reviewers paid for it to get it. And it was only $7 for a whole lifetime. So I might end up doing that. It's only $7. Just to see the difference. Do I need DLSS 5? No. Do I need anything else for the next 5 years? No. Why? Because my graphics card will do just fine until the day it dies. And the reason why it's not going to die so fast is because I don't abuse it. I use it, but don't abuse it. That makes sense. So that's the difference between having a great gameplay and trying to be a monster on your hardware, and your hardware lasts you only a couple years. Oh, not unless you go and trade it off to somebody, and you don't care who you trade it to, as long as you get the same that you paid for it, and then turn around and you already abused it, and then turn around and go buy something new and do it all over again. It's the same song and dance. I don't want something that's abused and blown a hole through, like some people like to do with 5090s. I'm not going to mention names, but it's funny when you got to go get it fixed to somebody else. But we're not going there. Trust me, we're not going there. It's not worth my time to worry about somebody's 5090. Not unless they come to the channel and ask me questions about it. It's just something that I would never tell anybody in this world to buy. Even if they spent $25, $35, $4,000, $5,000, whatever. I have a rule of thumb. Anything that's below $600 at the time I said this, and that was back about almost 4 years ago. Anything that's below $600 is going to be mid-range or below. And between the $150 and the $250 mark is going to be your entry level. Now, these companies love to jack the prices up. That's why I don't recommend their GPUs when they do that. Even if they do that on their CPUs, I won't recommend them. Even on their motherboards, any piece of your PC part, that companies scalp the consumers. I will not, and I repeat this, I will not have anything to do with their hardware. Straight up. Now, you guys are going to say, well, you got Nvidia. True. But Nvidia did not build my card. Asus built my card. They just got the GPU die and the memory chips from Nvidia. Nvidia did not build my card. Asus built my card. I don't know why everybody gets that wrong. I don't know why, but they do. If Nvidia built my card, it would have been an exclusive Founders Edition, which it's not. Mine was built by Asus. So Asus built the card. They designed the PCB. They attached everything, the cooler, the everything. They did their homework to build this GPU. That makes sense, machine? Everybody gets it. It says, oh, it's NVIDIA that's the problem, this and that. No. You're still not cutting in the AIB partners. AIB partners that built your card, they're the ones that built your card. That means all the PCB, the traces, everything. The only thing you got from NVIDIA was the memory chips and the the GPU die. And why everybody keeps blaming I mean, you guys want to give credit to where it's not due. Really think about it. It's just like when you're buying a stereo for for you to hold on to and everything else, and you noticed all the parts inside said made in Taiwan. But let's say the stereo was made by Sony, but the parts said made in Taiwan. What the fuck is the difference? It's just like with the graphics card. If it says Asus on it, which it does, it says Asus RTX 4070 OC model. Doesn't say NVIDIA. It says RTX. The GPU die is a product of NVIDIA. The memory chips are a product of either Samsung, SK Hynix, or Micron. It's not NVIDIA. Only thing you get from NVIDIA made is from TSMC, and that's called a schematic that was sent to TSMC to build the chip. So the only thing Nvidia done was the development of the chip, sending the schematics. TSMC did the work and built the chip. So the end game at TSMC, which you should wonder what's going on with them and how well the chip was built. And then Nvidia is still sidelined. Okay. So now you're going between TSMC, SK Hynix, which I know for a fact, and you're going between the RTX, not Nvidia, Asus. Does that make sense, Machine?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we know they have to source them out, man. I mean, it was coming head to head with this. We all know that. It was all coming head to head with this. We all know it was coming to head with this. But Machine, guess what? Guys, it has been fun. I know I've been on a rant tonight, and I know I kind of fell off what we were talking about, but I really want you to think very hard when it comes to software and people telling you, oh, this is going to make an improvement. Remember, everybody's PC is built differently. Not all PCs will accept this program. So keep that in mind if you decide to download and try it out. I'm not telling you not to. I don't know how your PC is going to react to it. I can't determine that. But I'm not going to do it. I don't need 4x, 6x frame generation. 2x frame generation is good enough for me. Simple said and put. And if I don't use the frame generation, 9 out of 10 chances I probably won't need it anyway. From what games I play and stuff, I really don't need it. So there it is. You got one program that gives you more frame generation. Gives you something. So. I don't think I'll be able to, my friend. Not tonight. Because tomorrow morning I got to take a small trip. And I got to get up like in approximately 7 hours. So I don't think I'll be able to join tonight. You can ask Mr. Machine if he's going to join. You going to join the call tonight there, Machine?
Probably not. I'm probably going to take a little nap.
Yeah, so I'm sorry we're not going to be able to get on it tonight, but I mean, there's plenty other nights, you know, this, not just this one. We'll catch you on a different night. How about that? And guys, so I don't keep you guys bored to death. And I am glad that y'all stuck around to the end of the live stream. It does help the channel out, and make sure y'all put positive likes on the live stream as well. So that way YouTube will push my videos out more and more. So that way I can come up with better and grander ideas. Because I do got a couple I want to get started. So I can't tell you. You're just going to have to be in suspense until I do it. But anyway, Machine, you want to say your goodbyes there, my friend?
Thanks for being here. It's pretty active tonight. It's pretty good. Good night.
Like he said. And if you've been here for a while and you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. But if it's your first time here and you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. Keep me busy. Hitting the positive like button on all my videos, hopefully, will keep YouTube busy and push my videos out even more. So we can get more than a couple thousand subscribers. Maybe we get 3. Maybe we get 1 million. I'm hoping we get 25 million. I hope that I become much as popular as Mr. Beast. Probably won't. I can always hope and imagine I can get to that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that stuff don't happen anymore.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But anyway, guys, until the next time in the next video or live stream, you know who it is with me and Mr. Machine. We'll see you guys on the next video or live stream. Have a good night, guys. Be safe. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. I hope not.
Slow up, no, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate